Hello, everyone, and welcome to the official Tiger Podcast. I'm Blair Cartwright, joined by Kevin Reid and Jeff McGee. Jeff, of course, the Assistant Athletic Director for Bentonville Schools. Kevin Reid, you may not know the name, but he is a trip driver, not a bus driver, trip driver. There's a difference, and explain what exactly a trip driver is, Kevin.
Well, a trip driver, we haul all athletics all over the district. Makes no difference which school they come from. I mean, we haul anything that rolls. We haul anything from athletics to forensics, debate, and haul across this year some, so it makes us no different. Kids are kids, It's all about getting them there and then being able to perform whatever they do and know that they're riding with somebody that cares about them, because we don't haul anybody that we don't watch. It's just like swim and dive. That's not the greatest thing to watch because it's like sitting in a sauna. But we go in and watch it because we support the kids we haul.
And you've been driving a long time, correct?
Oh, I've been driving a long time. Now, for Bentonville, this was my 7th year. But I've been driving since I was 21 years old because my dad was a coach. I set my college classes where I could get out early enough on Friday to haul him.
How did he get you to do that, or something you decided to do on your own?
No, because I was going to go to the game anyway. I went to the football games and I kept the stats, so, and he coached basketball, so it worked out real well. I was going to go anyway. And when you're in college, money's tight, so I could go get on the bus and use somebody else's fuel.
Yeah. You got paid to go to the game.
Yeah, basically.
Not bad.
Kevin's a guy that always has the angle to make sure he's at the game. He wants to be part of the action. I can promise you that.
And you've coached as well, correct?
Correct.
What sport did you coach?
I coached basketball, football, baseball. I mean, in small schools, you coach everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I've coached track, coached a little softball back when it was slow pitch, But basketball is really my preferred coaching because my dad coached it for 40 years. So I've been around it all my life.
What was the most difficult sport to coach, or the biggest challenge, I guess, to coach?
Probably track because, you can tell by looking I'm not a big giant. Trying to teach kids how to hurdle, and I can't even hurdle. Trying to teach kids how to pole vault, and I'm not getting on a pole. High jump, that's an ordeal for me also.
They say those who can't make the best teachers. Is that true?
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the best thing about driving a team?
The camaraderie with the kids, them knowing that we are not going to drop them in danger. We drop every kid we haul on a sidewalk or at a gate. We pick them up on a sidewalk or at a gate. And it makes no difference where we're at. We've been told that we can't do that, but we're going to do it anyway because our kids are not walking across the parking lot. If you hit one of our kids, that means you are up on the sidewalk to hit them.
How'd you get involved driving the teams?
Well, I've been driving for 7 years, so I wanted to do trips, but I had a regular route also. And so that means I drove a morning route and an afternoon route also. And it worked out because I'd been wanting us to go straight trip drivers because Rogers has them, Fayetteville has them, Springdale has them. And we just didn't, and we just didn't. I don't know if it was a budget thing or what the deal was. We didn't have enough drivers to cover routes, I think. But when we split schools, we doubled the teams. So there's no way you could run a route and take a trip. You're not going to be back in time. So then we started, there was trip drivers, so there's 3 of us, and this is all we do, and we're going anywhere from 5 to 6 nights a week. So I've been gone as many as 14 days straight. I mean, not in one trip, but I've worked a lot of Sundays.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Kevin's got two other gentlemen that drive with him, Heath and Bill. Tell us a little bit about those guys and kind of how you guys call yourselves the A-team.
Well, Heath, it was funny because he's a logger by trade. That's what he does, or what he used to do. And he came in the year after I did, and I would been hauling trips, and I had gotten requested for a lot of trips that come through, and then we don't do requests, but when your name shows up all the time, So yeah, it was funny because the lady that gives out the trips told Heath, he says, look, I'm going to send you with Kevin on this football trip, and whatever he does, you need to do whatever he does. So it was so funny because the first trip we took, I told him, I said, look, you got to lay out these trash bags now because they're going to eat pizza on the way home. On the bus? I said, yeah. I said, you lay out these clear trash bags, and I said, they know what to do with them. I said, we put pizza crumbs and we put bottles that are empty in clear bags, and I put out 2 big black ones. What's those for? I said, those are for the pizza boxes. He said, okay. So he didn't put out any bags. So when he got back, his bus was trashed. And he come back and he looked at my bus. He said, you need to come look at my bus. I said, okay. I said, well, you look at mine. He said, there's not a crumb on the floor. I said, no, there's not a crumb on the floor. I said, that's what I expect. They know. I said, your kids do too. So I got on his bus and I said, where's your trash bags? Well, I didn't put them out. I thought you were kidding. He said, I've had the worst trip. I said, well, you can put out the bags. So now he put out bags. And then we got Bill the next year. And he's an ex-coach because he coached at Northside. And so he come in. So I said, now look, Bill, tell him what I told you and tell him he better do it. And so he did. And so we all 3 do the same thing. It makes no difference who we haul. We treat everybody equal. It makes no difference what sport it is. We do the exact same thing for everybody. Then you don't have somebody saying, well, they do this for us and they do this for us, because we're straight across the board. We do the same thing for everybody. It's just like a few years ago when we went to pick up New Jersey and it was Colorado. We done the exact same thing with them that we do with our kids. Because if you're hauling 40, 45 kids, that's $40-45 million worth of merchandise you're hauling. And that's how we look at it. Our kids are very important to us, so we take care of them like they were our own. We provide power on the bus, so they can charge phones. Like when we haul debate and forensics, I haul debate, so they're running laptops constantly going down the road. I mean, if you need it, we've got it. If we ain't got it, you probably don't need it.
That they are required, and this is an A-team requirement. You have to be certified, and I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. They have to roll with 2 power inverters, because if one blows out, they need to have a backup.
We got to have a backup.
That is required.
Yeah.
Wow.
We run anywhere from 3 to 4 6-ways down the side of the bus. They're all Velcroed on.
And this is at their nickel. This is not school.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, this is our time.
Wow. What's your favorite mascot story?
While I was a Tiger or while I was a Bear? Because I went to school at UCA.
Okay. Both.
Well, at UCA, my fraternity owned him, and it was the old style mascot. So the head was plaster Paris, so it was really big. And a bear has a big belly and a big rear end. So you had feather pillows, and you had suspenders over it. There was no fans in mascots then. There wasn't none of that. Mm-hmm. I was down at SAU. They played during the day. It was hot. And I'm down there at half, and I was out there with the cheerleaders, and we were going to do this cheer, and next thing I know, I was laying on the ground. I had to go to the ambulance and get oxygen because I passed out.
Wow.
That was kind of scary. But, you walk up and down in the bleachers, and I mean, people love you. Kids love you. I mean, you can get your picture made at any event usually 200 or 300 times, without even trying. And kids love it. And, if kids love it, they want to come to the game. If they come to the game, mom and dad comes to the game, that means mom and dad bought a ticket. Mm-hmm. So it supports the program.
Do you ever get people who, and this always drives me nuts, who are a little abusive to the mascot, and how do you handle that situation?
Well, if they're abusive, they can hit all they want to because they're not going to hurt you. Because your head's in this big head, and so they're not going to hurt you. Now the Tiger now has shoulder pads, so he's kind of bowed up now. So he doesn't look like an Ethiopian tiger anymore. Well, the first time I saw him, I was like, "You got to be kidding me! This is what we wear for a tiger suit." I was like, "I need to get into this thing because I got to straighten this out."
That's my question to you. How did you get in the tiger suit?
Yeah.
Well, the kid that does does it has some kind of health issues, and he can't walk very long, and he can't do it a whole game. But a lot of times I can't do it on Friday nights because I'm going somewhere else, you know. And so when I'm available, I do it, you know.
Well, how did you even get started to wear the how did you get connected to the tiger suit?
I got connected to the tiger suit. I guess it was the Christmas parade. I think this is when it was. And because that boy can't walk that far, the cheerleader sponsor called me and says, "Hey, we got to have the tiger suits Christmas parade." I said, "Okay. So, what do you want me to do about it?" She said, "Well, you have to walk." I said, well, "You have to walk." She said, "Yeah, I need you to do it." And I said, "Okay." So I done it, and I mean, it was real good. I walked with the band, and so, you know, I couldn't pass out candy because you can't pass out candy in the midst because you can't see that good. But I'd walk off to the side of the road and take pictures with kids, and I was in and out of the band and back and forth. And then the craziest thing was when I got through, you know, the way it goes on, the head goes on first. Then the suit goes over it. And it's not male friendly because the zipper's in the back to get out of it. Well, I was the only one. I drove to the parade without the suit, put the suit on when I got there. Well, after it's over, there's nobody around. I'm in this tiger suit, and I can't get it off. So I'm thinking, how am I going to drive? I thought, well, I guess I'll just look out the mouth. So I got in my truck, and I left the parade. There was nobody to help me. So I drove to the gym.
In the tiger
Yeah.
suit.
And I mean, people, when you're driving and you pull up at a stop sign and you're in
my
a people
goodness.
just wave and people just let you out. I mean, it was crazy. I'm going down 102 and I've got my head hung out the window, and people are stopping on the westbound side, literally stopping and going and just pointing, and I just wave and just keep driving. I had to go to the gym to get somebody to help me get undressed.
And from any other human, you would say not true, but this guy, I promise you, 100% believe it.
So when we go to pick them up usually awards are anywhere from 4:30 to 5:30, which usually means 5:30 to 6:30. And we've already got divided out on the buses, so there's no thinking involved. We've already thought for you. But now it took a while to get the motel to understand that our kids need to be clean. But as much stuff as they leave, yeah.
So what's the hardest thing about being a judge? And how long did it take you to get to where you really felt comfortable?
Well, you just
doing it?
you just listen to the pros and the cons of the debate, and they don't know which side they're on till they get there. They know what the debate is. It doesn't change. They have like 5 different debates, and it doesn't change. But kids are so inventive about how they say things, about whether it's a pro or a con, and then they just kind of argue amongst themselves back and forth. But they're talking to you, but they look at each other quite a bit. But, you know, it makes no difference whether or not I agree with the debate or not. It's who does the best job presenting it and who basically presents it with more confidence and can sell whether they're a pro or con, if they can sell it to me. That's who wins.
So is the content not that important? It's how they sell it to you?
Well, the content is, but some content I don't really
Understand.
It's not that I don't care, but I don't think it'll change regardless of how the debate goes. I mean, you know, because it's just school. But I didn't realize that the money to go to school was quite as good as it is if you're that good. I mean, you can get scholarships. So, I mean, I had no idea it was that good. You know, and it's like we do winter guard with the band, and we do, I mean, there's very little of the roles that we don't do.
So you're
My.
clean the windshield.
We scrape them.
Wow.
Because as long as it's stainless steel, it doesn't scratch them.
And this is there again, this is a trick that Kevin knows because Kevin, in a previous life, used to detail high-end cars for SEMA and major shows
like SEMA
like
and
that.
CES out in Vegas.
Now, what does SEMA stand for? I'm not
It's an automotive
car
show.
literate.
It's an automotive show.
Okay.
It's like the new products coming out for cars.
Oh, okay. Kind of like, I guess I would know, some of us would know CES.
Right.
Yeah,
Same
and
type deal.
And I do
Okay.
CES.
Okay.
I'm usually over like in the car audio section
Oh,
in
okay.
CES.
Yeah.
But I go out there and clean cars. I used to, and I have companies that fly me out, ship my materials, put me up. Anything I eat and drink all week is covered. I usually go out 2 days early. I usually go to different warehouses and clean cars, and I'm in there usually an hour before it opens in the morning, and I'm there 45 minutes to an hour in the afternoon. I used to go every year, so therefore I knew all the union guys, and they knew me. You know, I mean, you're not even supposed to plug in an extension cord without having them do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a union badge, so I just plug in my own stuff. They just give me one because I ain't got time to chase them down. I'm busy, but they pay me and pay me quite well, and I come home.
What would be the most interesting car you've ever detailed?
Well, it all started. I had a buddy has a car audio shop in Benton, and he had an S10 with 2015s in it, and like 24,000 watts of power. I mean, it was like it's a 15-time world champion. So I started cleaning it. It's a black S10 with a snug top, so it's black, and it never sees rain. It goes in and out of a trailer. It's when he had it, it never saw rain. And it started that way, and people would say, hey, that guy that cleans Crowder's vehicle, you need to get him to clean your vehicle. You know, he's good. And so that's how it started. And then all of a sudden I had people like Rockford Fosgate, Sherwin Vega, Audio Bonds, people like that would fly me places to clean cars for them. And, I've been up to New Jersey and cleaned a car for a guy. Well, that was a little different deal. I don't really know how I got that one. A guy from Brooklyn hooked me up, and they flew me up like on a private plane, landed, and the limo come out to the paddock to pick me up. I never went through the airport. It was a little different. It was kind of odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those you don't ask too many questions.
Yeah, I didn't ask too many. He paid well, so I done my job and went home.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've met a lot of different people. I've cleaned Dennis Rodman's vehicle. I've cleaned Fisher's vehicle. I've, hung out with MC Hammer. I mean, you meet a lot of different people doing what I used to do. I mean, I traveled every weekend. I was somewhere every weekend cleaning cars.
Wow.
That's something.
That is. So, in terms of cleaning cars, what's something that we probably aren't doing that we should do?
You can take bugs on a vehicle. You can take a little bit of peroxide and put it in a spray bottle and fill it up with water and spray it, and the bugs will just fall off.
Really?
Yes. Now, it takes the wax off the vehicle, but the bugs will come off too. So you don't have to use that little abrasive scrubbing pad that they tell you is a bug.
That's not good.
No, that's not good.
I've heard you can do the same with a dryer sheet.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Peroxide's just easy to carry.
Yeah.
Because I always carry big Rubbermaid tubs of stuff already made up, So, I don't know. It's something I used to really love to do because it was me in the car. And I, you always hear it's hard to make a old wagon wheel look good, but you can if you spend enough time on it.